Is it raining at your house like it's raining in mine? Do you miss me like I miss you? Is it cloudy all the time? Do you tremble when the phone rings and you think I'm on the line? Is it raining at your house like it's raining in mine? Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV and the House Light Kitchen Sinks. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that post notification so anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. Let's say, Real Kens, why you always happy all the time? Why you always just overjoyed with... It just seems like you always in a good mood. I thought about it, and I said, I'm in the free world. I'm not in prison. I've been out of prison for years. I'm living a productive life. I pay taxes. I abide by the laws, the rules. I may not necessarily like all the rules and all the laws, but I understand that if I don't, where I'll ultimately end up. This afternoon, it's about 80 degrees in Kentucky. And I think about how it will be walking that yard in the penitentiary. Much rather be on this side of the fence. So oftentimes, I have my moments, just like anyone else. But I shake it off and just understand that, I got a blessing and I got another chance at life to be out here, to be on YouTube with you all. So, to sum it up, that's why I'm happy all the time. Hopefully, you all enjoy my rendition, my country rendition. My intro. It may just be my new intro. Every time I come on here, I may just sing a different song. I've really been feeling my country as of late. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm mainly a rap and R&B guy, but lately I've really been on my country. I just love music. I actually love music, and I'm actually about to start taking guitar lessons. To be honest, real talk, I'm gonna buy me a guitar, a cheap guitar, just for starters. And I'm about to start taking guitar lessons. So be on the lookout. No time soon, but be on the lookout at some point of my intro consisting of me playing the guitar and singing a country song. But nevertheless, I missed you all. I'm glad to be back. Not that I necessarily went anywhere, but I just haven't been posting as much as of late. As you can see, I'm at work now. Actually, I worked the morning shift this morning, and I had about an hour or so, and I said, let me jump on here, say hello to my peoples. You see what I'm saying? Because I got to go back into work and work until about midnight. It's about 4:00 p.m. right now. So, actually work until about 12:30 a.m., if you will. But hey, who's complaining? I had a viewer, I get all type of questions. I try my best to answer them all. Obviously I can't answer every single question, but I try. And I had a viewer ask me, he said that he was watching a Fleece Johnson video. Shout out to Hustler Spirit 502. If you all not familiar with Fleece Johnson, Hustler Spirit 502, go check them out, man. Go check a nice channel. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. They from the turf, the hometown, or the home state rather. We bleed blue down here. They bleed red. But it's all good when it's all, said and done. Just a little friendly competition. That's all it is. But ask me, what is the difference between prison when I first went in and prison now. You know, when I first went into prison, it was in 2001. That was the first time I ever went into prison. And I was young. I was like in my early 20s. First time I ever, went to prison. I never really experienced a whole lot of jail time. Because I didn't get in that much trouble. I don't have a juvenile record or anything like that. I didn't start getting in trouble until in my latter years, if you will. So, when I initially went down, as far as in prison, so let me pause that. I'm going to say pause. When I initially went to prison in 2001, things were drastically different opposed to when I exited prison several years ago. Now, I didn't do all my time straight. I did over 10 years in the Department of Corrections, but I didn't do all my time straight. It was 3 different occasions that I went in. But when I first went to prison, it was crazy because when you arrive on the prison yard, you don't really know what to expect. You have people that tell you different things and they'll say, okay, don't do this, don't do that, look for this, look for that. But until you actually go, you don't really know. It was so crazy because when I arrived on the prison yard in 2001, everyone had clothes. Everyone had clothes. So I'm walking on the yard. I don't know who staff is. I don't know who inmates are. Because, you can obviously tell the ones that blatantly were inmates. But then you had some that had the khakis on. They had the button-down shirt on. They had the ID tag hanging from their pocket, but it was turned around so you couldn't really see their ID. You didn't know who was who. You had no clue. So that was an adjustment. So that's one of the major things that have changed. Because that same year, I believe later that year in 2001 or early 2002, they took the clothes off the yard. Completely, you had to send all your clothes home or donate them. Clothes, shoes, everything. They went to the khaki uniforms that I'm sure you all see on a lot of the videos. Khaki uniforms and state boots, state-issued boots. That's all that you could have as far as clothes. Now, you were allowed to have up to 3 gray sweatsuits. And you could have shoes, but the shoes had to be like all white. Maybe a little bit of gray in them, but predominantly white. You could have a toboggan, which was a khaki colored toboggan and a gray toboggan. But otherwise, white t-shirts, gray shorts. Everything had to be gray or white. That was a big transition because a lot of people were very upset about them taking the clothes off the yard. Another thing that's different, they no longer allow you to get home packages in. Back then, you could get a home package once every 6 months. You get a home package, it comes through the mail, it goes through R&D. R&D is basically where everything goes down. When you arrive at the prison, you go to R&D, they go through all of your belongings, and when you leave prison, you leave through R&D. That's where you get your towels, your boxers, your socks, things, your property. You see what I'm saying? Any sort of property that you may need, if you need some new pants or if you need a new jacket or just anything, you go through R&D. So when your package would arrive, they would inspect it carefully and make sure that there was no contraband or anything in there that you shouldn't have. And you are allowed to have like food, clothes. Even when they took the clothes off the yard, you could have like sweatsuits sent in. You could have boxers, your own towel, robe, your own sheets, blankets, pillows, pillowcases. Things that, homely, if you will, for lack of better terms. They cut that out. So you can no longer get packages in prison. Took the cigarettes off the yard. That was big. That was major. They used to sell cigarettes, and the commissary I know made a killing off of cigarettes. They used to sell like the roll-ups, the buglers. I've never been a smoker. I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life, but smoking in prison is huge. It seems to be a stress reliever. So they took the cigarettes off the yard, and guys they went crazy. They went crazy when they took the cigarettes off the yard because, now, yeah, there's still cigarettes on the yard, but you have to work, you have to work hard to get them, and you can't just go to the commissary window now. Now you have to buy cigarettes, and they were fairly high when last time I was in prison. They're going to inflate the prices tremendously. So they took the cigarettes off of the yard. Another thing they did, they came through and took the weights, all the free weights. They took all the free weights. That's what guys really, really relied on. Really took their anger, their frustration, their stress. Instead of taking it out on people, they took it out on in the weight pile. That's what you call it in prison, the weight pile. In Kentucky anyway. Now, a lot of the correction officers were saying, well, these guys are getting too big and we're not able to handle them and control them. So it was just another reason for them to take. See, in prison, you all that haven't been to prison, it's all about taking. It's not about managing anything. It's not about trying to come up with a solution, trying to figure out a problem. If one person does something, they say, you know what? Here, we're just going to take it. So they punish everyone. So a lot of times people say, well, why do inmates hate correction officers? Or inmates, they refuse to obey direct orders. First of all, a direct order is the corniest statement that I've ever heard. You bring in people to be correction officers that they're not trained in this. They might have been working at the gas station. And ain't nothing wrong with working at the gas station, but I'm just using that as an example. Prior to being hired at a prison, they may have been working at the gas station somewhere. But now you give them a job in a prison, you give them $17 an hour, more money than they've ever made in their life. You see what I'm saying? And then you tell them that your word is gold. So whatever you say goes. And they put them in control of all these inmates. So you bring in a 23, 24-year-old correction officer, sometimes younger, and they come in there with that bully mentality, and you trying to tell grown men that been locked up longer than you've been alive to shut up, sit down, put your hands behind your back, put your hands up, lift your tongue, squat, cough. Man, you subject to get your noodle pushed all the way backwards. We don't say wig split on this channel. We say get your noodle pushed all the way backwards. Because ain't nobody going for that. I got 40-year sentence. What I got to lose? What you going to do? Throw me in the hole? That's all you can really do. Just throw me in the hole. So a lot of these correction officers they hire, they really get beside themselves and they come in there really, really needing to be humbled. I seen one guy and he told the correction officer, man, you better check my jacket. Dude was known for shooting police. Calico, that's what they call him, Calico. Shout out to Calico if you seeing this, or any of your people seeing this. He's known for shooting at the police. He did not play. He did not like police. He did not play. He ain't gonna just shoot at the police for no reason. But it's if there's a reason, he's gonna handle his business. And we was in, CO was giving him a hard time one time, and he told him, hey man, like I said, you better check my jacket. I'm gonna put some Mac right in you as soon as I get out this cell. As soon as I get out this cell, I'm gonna put some Mac right in you. I don't know whatever happened. I ended up getting transferred. But I'm quite sure that he meant it. Because he was known. So a lot of those officers, they're hiring them. It seems as though they're hiring a lot of younger officers now. Some are cool, but some are cool, So I don't want to sit there and put it off on all officers. But a lot of them are jerks, man. That's a big difference now. They're younger. Officers are younger. Prison is just a lot different as far as a whole now. In 2001 when I went down, the OGs, they seemed like they still had control of the yard. Now, you always gonna have youngsters come in there, they wild, they running around, they, doing this, they doing that, but it seemed like a youngster would listen to the older dudes then. Now, they'll straight up tell you in prison, hey, OG, mind your business. We don't respect our elders. That's the only warning we're going to give you. We don't respect our elders. And there's so many young dudes running around prison now, And dudes got 40 and 50 years, 35, 40, 50 years at 85%, which means they have to do 85% of their time before they're eligible to even go for parole. So they're not caring about nothing. They're not caring about anything. They wild. They running up in your cell. They robbing you with the mask on. Sometimes they may not have a mask on. They taking your food out of your cell, taking your shoes, taking whatever. Wild, wild west, just like the streets. Whoever. Anybody's a target. Anybody can get it. Now, not literally anybody, because they're not going to run up in just anyone's cell, but they're going to scope out the weak or the people that they perceive to be weak. You may be an individual that don't really hang with nobody, don't run with anybody, and somebody, they watching you, you go to the store on a regular basis, we're going to get him. As soon as you go in your cell, they run in your cell. But little do they know, you about that action. You see what I'm saying? So they quickly learn. But that's another huge, huge difference. For the most part, those are the things that I can think of off the top of my head as far as the major differences in prison. Like I said, everything is take now. There's no solution to anything but to take. You know, they sell you all of this high priced food, like anything you can buy at the grocery store out here, you can buy in prison. No matter what, hot dogs, hamburger, ground beef, turkey, whatever you can buy in the grocery store, for the most part, you can buy in prison. And for the longest time, you could just cook your food in a microwave. Everything you had to figure out a way to cook it in a microwave, no matter what it was. Well, then they started putting the like George Foreman type grills in prison. So that, you know, because they were selling burgers, they were selling chicken strips. You can fry your onions, your peppers, you can actually cook on the grill. And they would put like 2 grills in each dorm. From what I understand, right after I got out, you had some people complaining. And it was always the people that didn't get any money sent in and they were never cooking. And so they were the people that were complaining, saying that, you had some people that didn't eat pork. So they were saying that, the smell, they were talking about the smell, but they had a separate room for the people that didn't eat pork to cook their food on a grill. So I don't even really necessarily believe it was just that. I just think that they just said that, to try to justify taking the grills. They were saying that it was causing too much of a problem. People weren't cleaning up after themselves. Where they had the grill stationed at, the grease would pop up and somebody's laying in their rack and the grease would land on their head, or, just any sort of excuse. So guess what they do? They come in and take the grills out. But they still selling these burgers. They still selling these, they would sell them in patties. You would buy a box of 15 for $16, I believe. Pretty good deal in prison. I'm surprised they wasn't charging $32 for them. See, in prison, it's all about eating. How well are you eating? Eating makes you happy. You see what I'm saying? Now, you're never going to truly be happy because you're in prison, but if you can eat well, you're going to be in a lot better mood. You're going to be full. You're going to be calm. That's another thing that's changed the food. They use Aramark. In Kentucky, the Kentucky prisons primarily use Aramark. Now, they use Aramark and they use Kelwell, but most places you go to is going to be Aramark. What's so crazy about Aramark, they have some high-end, high-quality food. So you may go to certain events, you may go to certain, things that have catered by Aramark, and it's top-of-the-line food. But they also do low-level food such as prison. Straight crap. That's why you have to have money in prison. So you all that have people that are in prison or relatives or friends and they're calling asking for money, it's not always necessarily about anything negative. You have to have money in prison because, they're going to give you enough food so that you don't starve, but it's absolutely terrible. It's terrible. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to be in prison eating, like you're at a 5-star restaurant, but they work you in prison. You have to go out and do all of the jobs that they would normally have to pay someone $20, $25 an hour. They have the inmates do it and give them $2 a day, $1 a day. So they're making a whole lot of money off the prisoners. Between what I just mentioned, commissary, the phone calls are ridiculous. A local call is $3.50. So just think, if you calling out of state or you calling out of the area code, $7, $8 for a call, for a 15-minute call. They have tablets now, so you can go on the tablets. You can order movies. You can listen to music, but all of it costs. MP3 players. Each song that you download costs $2. They do meal of the week, fresh faves. That's what they call it, fresh faves, to where they'll sell food in the kitchen that they're ordering. They're ordering anyway, but they just keep it, or the COs sneak it in their trunk and take it home. So instead of serving it, they'll serve the inmates beans and rice and just nasty food. You see what I'm saying? And keep all the good stuff and just sell it to the inmates. Chicken strips, fries, tater tots, pizza, things of that nature. So it's a whole lot of game being ran in prison. It's a whole lot of, I don't want to call it extortion, because you don't have to do it. But in my eyes, it's a form of extortion, for the simple fact that if you starving and somebody's offering you this tray of beans, and they're terrible, a tray of beans and some old cornbread and some coleslaw and a dry cookie, so you can eat that, but you have plenty of money in your account, and you can get a number 5 at McDonald's, but instead of it being $10, which is basically what it is on the streets, they're going to charge you $30. That's highway robbery, and it's your choice to eat these beans or buy this $30 value meal. You're gonna buy the value meal because you don't want to eat that slop, and you got the money to buy it. So that's what prison consists of, man. Consistently, just getting over on inmates. It's a racket. It's a business. I'm gonna say it to the day I die. Prison, locking people up, is a business. It's definitely a big business. You see what I'm saying? For the simple fact